Hey, what's good guys? Mr. Games here, back at it again with another video. Now, I don't know about you, but I am absolutely starved for Nintendo Direct. Not because of Xenoblade Chronicles needing to be shown off, not because there's games that need to be shown off, no. The reason why I want a Nintendo Direct is because I desperately want to see who the next DLC fighter is. And I'm pretty sure that's a sentiment held by many, mostly because with the reveal of Byleth, whose reception was very mixed to say the very least, most fans were really wanting to go ahead and see who the next DLC fighter was after it was announced that there will be another Fighters Pass containing 6 DLC fighters. And who knows when we're going to see the next one, especially with the news right now. But you know what? In the meantime, why don't I go ahead and share to you guys who my top 6 most wanted characters are for this next Fighters Pass. Now, before I start, I'm just going to make one rule clear. As long as they're a video game character, they're allowed. So that means expect some truly wild choices that might not be possible, but who cares? But anyways, without further ado, let's jump into my top 6 most wanted DLC characters for Fighters Pass Volume 2. You know, one of the most impressive things about Smash Bros. Is just how many gaming platforms it represents. From Snake, Cloud, and Joker who hail from the PlayStation, to Banjo who's owned by Microsoft, as well as Sonic representing the Sega consoles, and even Terry who represents the niche but beloved Neo Geo. However, if there's one platform currently not represented in Smash Bros., it's PC. Now, in terms of picking up where a PC rep could come from, it would have to be from Valve. I mean, Valve is the face of PC gaming after all. Now, picking a Valve rep, though, that was a bit difficult. Mostly because a lot of the Valve games out there have really massive followings. Do I pick Shell from Portal, or a TF2 rep, or even a Dota character? Well, at the end of the day, I obviously had to go with Gordon Freeman from Half-Life. Alongside Halo, Half-Life revolutionized first-person shooters as well as storytelling games. It also doesn't hurt that Sakurai loved Half-Life 2. In the end, while definitely not the most likely, Gordon would represent a realm of gaming not currently represented, as well as represent an important stage in video game development. So for my 6th most wanted character, that would go to Gordon Freeman. You know, out of all the characters on this list, this one's probably going to be the most likely to actually happen, and is also the most expected. But can you blame me for wanting him? Travis Touchdown would be cool, alright? Okay, I may be a tad bit biased, mostly because I really do want to play No More Heroes 1, but I'm still trying to find the game for the Wii, but that's not going to stop me from wanting him. I honestly would absolutely love to see how they choose to represent him. Of course, I would love to see him bring a lot of fourth wall jokes with him. I mean, just imagine if one of his taunts was him making fun of his opponent. Not only that, but the fact that he pretty much uses a goddamn lightsaber would be enough for me. And with his third main entry coming out later this year, and the fact that I suspect it to be one of Nintendo's big releases for 2020, his chances of making it are at the highest they've ever been. So, for me, my 5th most wanted character goes to Travis Touchdown. You know what Smash could use more of? Puzzle game reps. Really though, for as popular as they are, it's a tad bit surprising that the only puzzle game rep we have is Dr. Mario. Now, in terms of who could fill in this niche, 2 characters come to mind. Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright. Now, because this is a most wanted list, I'm going to let my biases choose for me, and they choose Professor Layton. Professor Layton, hailing from the series of the same name, would definitely be a nice change of pace from a lot of the characters we've gotten recently. Don't get me wrong, I love the stylish Joker and the macho Terry Bogard, but getting a gentleman archaeologist would definitely be a bit of a nice breath of fresh air. On top of that, his moveset would be creative as well. While it is obvious he would fence and use a slot machine gun, it would also be fun to see how they take from his puzzle mini-games as well and incorporate them into his moveset. Also, a side thing, but the game has a phenomenal soundtrack, which would be a blast to see get remixed. So thanks to my biases, my 4th most wanted character is Professor Layton. With the last Fighters Pass, one criticism I kept seeing was how there was no standalone female characters in it. However, I think this is a stupid criticism, mostly because I don't think characters should be added in mostly just to fill a diversity box. However, it doesn't mean I don't want any female characters to begin with. In fact, one of my most wanted characters right now is 2B. Now, listen, I might only have gotten the first ending of the game at the time of this recording, but so far, Nier Automata has earned its place in my top 5 video games of all time. Its art style is gorgeous, its story is great, and its soundtrack is simply wonderful. However, I have to say, I love 2B. I love her personality, and her dialogue with 9S is really entertaining. While I do think her more risque appearance could be a bit of a problem, I honestly wouldn't mind if they just gave her some leggings, and just so that means I can get one of my favorite characters in the game. So, in the end, I would have to say my 3rd most wanted character has to be 2B. You know, before Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was released, one of the things I wanted to see the most was just more fighting game representation. At the time of the E3 roster reveal, we only had one actual fighting game rep with Ryu. It was easily the one genre I wanted to see represented more, and, in the end, it did. In terms of the base game, we got Ken and Echo for Ryu, who I accepted with open arms. Then in Fighters Pass 2, we got another fighting game route with the beloved, albeit niche, Terry Bogard, leaving us with 3 fighting game characters. Now, so far, I would say I love the fighting game representation, but a part of me wants just a bit more. Now, I know most people would want a Tekken rep if we got another fighting game rep like Heihachi, Jin, or Kazuya, and I personally would have put one of them in here if it weren't for Terry showing that it isn't unrealistic to want someone from like a fighting game that's not one of the big 3, those 3 being Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken. So, for me, getting Soul Bad Guy in the game would definitely be a dream come true. Guilty Gear has some of the best animations of any fighting game currently out there, a killer soundtrack, and one of the most entertaining character rosters out there. It's only natural to want to have the Ryu of the series, Soul Bad Guy, make his way into Smash Bros. So, for me, easily, my second most wanted character is Soul Bad Guy. You know, it's rather crazy just seeing how many companies are currently involved in Smash Bros. Right now. From Konami having Snake, Simon, and Richter, to Sega having Sonic, to Square Enix having Cloud Strife, to even Microsoft who has Banjo-Kazooie in the game. However, while I do want to see more companies get in, I do feel like there is one company out there that genuinely feels missing for not being on the Smash roster. And who is that company, you may ask? That's right. I want Sony's Kratos to join the game. With just how important Sony is to video games, it's still rather shocking that they haven't gotten one of their own characters in yet. And I can't think of a better character to add than Kratos. He is the face of PlayStation after all, or at least he currently is, and with just how popular his most recent outing was, it's obvious people still hold Kratos and God of War in a high regard. And with the fact that Kratos would easily be one of the few characters out there who could break the internet, my number one, easily, has to go to Kratos from God of War. So yeah, those are my 6 most wanted characters for this next Fighters Pass. Now, there's another question that has to be asked. Do I think this would be a likely Fighters Pass? No. I mean, at the end of the day, Gordon would probably only really be likely if it were some alternate timeline, and Sony is Sony, so the chances of getting Kratos in the game are pretty slim, but you know what? That's alright. You see, that's the fun part of making these most wanted characters lists. Character choices aren't bound by likelihood, and they really show you what games people hold close to them and what characters people really do enjoy. So I'm curious to know who you guys want to see for this next Fighters Pass. Anyways though, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Till next time, friends.